Gajananam bhuta ganati sevitam kapitta jambu phalasara bhakshitam Umasutam soka vinasha karanam namami Vigneshwara pada pankajam. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam, Sankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmatacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunattu, Sahavirjam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadidamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So welcome to the concluding session of SanKatha, the program that combines learning Sanskrit and Kathopanishad. We started off with an introduction to Upanishads and then chose Kathopanishad on the request of many of the students here to talk about Kathopanishads. So in this session, we are giving all the selected verses. I'm not reciting every verse, but giving you the highlights of Kathopanishad in a practical way that you can follow and apply it in your daily life. So this is the 7th session and a concluding session. And I hope you're able to see the screen. And as usual, we will review our last session. What did we learn in previous session? So we had a quick summary of Valli 3 of chapter 1. As I mentioned, there are 2 chapters, each chapter having 3 subsections called Vallis. And we gave a summary of Valli 3 in chapter 1, where Lord Yama gives explanation on the nature of self, like Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Abhyayam, etc. You know, it is formless, it is soundless, it is not having any sense of touch, and it is undecaying and so on. So it's something which is very difficult for an ordinary person to visualize. Then we began Valli 4 of chapter 2. The very first narrates the reason why our senses get attracted to external objects. Oh, that's a very important question. And he explains it. It is Swayambhu's default creation. Everybody is created with those senses. For what reason, we do not know. But it is a default creation. So they also explains the importance of adoring Agni, Jata Vedas I mentioned, through various oblations. Now, Agni is a messenger from this world to the next world. So we offer these to Agni, and we believe that this is carried forward to the next world. So he also says how to realize this Brahman, and he repeats it by the mind alone. It is not through the bodily actions or activities, not by singing, not by doing stotrams, but by the mind, application of mind alone. And where is this Brahman located? He mentions that somewhere as a very small minuscule, Angushta Matre, he says, in your heart. And that is a very tiny portion of the Paramatma. So it's like a drop of water poured into a glass of pure water. They become one. So is Brahman. So the one which you offer from your Jiva-Atma, eventually trying to unite with that eternal Brahman. Both are same as far as characteristics are concerned. It is like pure water getting into a much larger quantity or a pool of water and becoming one. And that is the ultimate goal of Sanatana Dharma, that we would like to be identified with that great eternal Brahman. So with that, we concluded Valli 4 of chapter 2, and we just began Valli 5. So let's continue with it now. This verse is what we recited last time, and I did give you the little meaning for that. And this has got 2 lines, fairly long words. Therefore, I split up the complicated sandhis here so that it is easy for you to recite it and also understand it. Hamsaha sutishat vasur antarikshat hota. That is the second word here. Vedishat atitir duronasat. Next line, Nishat Varasat. Something which is coming here. I don't know why. Ritasat, Vyomasat, Abja. That is one word. Goja, Ritaja, Adrija, Ritam, Brihat. So you see, it's a fairly long verse with complicated words. But here, the meaning, now that Brahman is compared to Hamsaha. You know, Hamsa is a unique bird, the swan, which is believed to separate milk from water and keeps moving. It's also compared to the sun. He is a swan in the sky, the pervader in the space and the interspace as air. He also serves as a priest at the altar, the guest in the house. He dwells in humans, in gods, in the cosmic order, Rita. He is born of water, sprung from the earth, born of cosmic order and born of mountain. He is the truth and the great. So you see, the gist of this is really that this Brahman or Paramatma is present everywhere in every entity in creation. The all pervasiveness, of this Atman. There is no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma, except that Jivatma is considered to be a small, very minuscule part of the Paramatma. And that is something unique to our Sanatana Dharma. And the example of just a drop of water going into a huge pool and becomes one is the same way as the Jivatma merges with the Paramatma. So that is also the principle of Advaita propagated by Adi Shankaracharya, that there is no difference. There are not two, they are one. And that's why even Hamsa, the word, if you take it, Ham-sa. Ham means, even in Hindi you say I, right? Ham, I. And Sa is the he. When you say Hamsa, it is I and he together, unity. The outgoing and incoming breath is also Hamsa. So that abides in the heart is like a blazing sun, the fire. In Adi Shankara, in his commentary, he says, even though the sun is referred here as the one that pervades all through his rays, which is coming everywhere, Vedas consider sun as the self of all creations. Without sun, there is no creation. As per the Brahmana part of the Vedas, Rigveda says, the sun is the self of all that moves and those that do not move. So, Soham is an expression in Sanskrit. Soham means I am he, I am that. So that feeling that you are also divine is being conveyed in this verse. So going further, we'll go to the next verse. Is 6, Valli 5. Hantata idam pravakshami guhyam brahma sanatanam yatha cha maranam prapya atma bhavati Gautama. Yama is addressing Nachiketas as Gautama. I explained the meaning of Gautama last time. Gautama. In fact, the Buddha's first name is Gautam. So, after talking more about the universal Brahman, Lord Yama proceeds to the core of the question asked by Nachiketas. What did he ask in the third boon? He asked, what happens to the self after death? What is the secret? And Yama calls it the secret. It is the profound and eternal Brahman. If you say Brahman, what does it mean? There is a word here, Brahma. Br is the root, Sanskrit root. Br, which means to expand, to enlarge, to make it firm, to make it strong. That's the root Br. So, Brahman is something which is large. It's a neuter gender. It's a stem. And you have this concept of Brahman, which is very large and very huge. So, going to the meanings of these words, Hanta is, well then, O Gautama, he says, to you, idam, this profound secret, guhyam, means secret. Guha is a cave, which is a secret. Even the word gupt in Hindi, it means secret. That is why, Guptas, they were supposed to be holding the purse strings of the kings in those days. Financial wizards who knew everything about the finances of a kingdom. So they were called Guptas because it was secret. Nobody wants to tell about what is the wealth one is holding. You may have an account in Swiss bank. Who wants to tell that? Nobody. So the accountant, chartered accountant knows it. So they are called Guptas. So secret, the Gupt is secret. Likewise here, Guhyam, profound. Brahma is what I mentioned from the root Bhr. Sanatanam, Sanatana Dharma we call is eternal. Yathacha maranam prapya, upon death. Atma, what happens? So well, then Gautama, in Nachiketas, I shall explain to you this profound and eternal Brahman that is secret and eternal. And what happens to the self after death? Many people wonder, right? We don't know. Nobody is telling us what happens because they don't come back to tell you. So here he says, I will tell you what happens. So everybody is waiting to hear about this. So going further, this is verse 7, Valli 5, chapter 2. He says in very, very clear terms, Yoni manye prabatyante sharirattvaya dehinaha sthanum anye anusayanti yata karma yata srutam. Yoni is the womb of a woman or somebody who carries a baby. Prabatyante, they get reborn. Anye, others. The unique theory of reincarnation, which is exclusive to Sanatana Dharma, is being expounded here. Prabatyante, they attain to Sariratvaya, to take another body. Dehinaha, the embodied beings. It could not be only referred to human beings, it could refer to any living being because all animals reproduce. So this Atma or Jivatma gets into another body. It could be an animal, it could be a human being also. Anye, others, anusamyanti, they attain yatha karma, as per their actions, yatha srutam, and as per their knowledge. So, some souls enter the womb in order to attain another body and become embodied beings. It should be beings, not brings beings. Others attain motionless forms, immovable. Sthanu. Sthanu means still. Those of you who have visited a place called Suchindram in Tamil Nadu, in South India, the Lord there is called Sthanu Murti Shiva. Sthanu, still. There are people who still have the name as Sthanu Murti or Tanu Murti. So Sthanu, there is a story that she was consort who had been a creeper around Shiva. She's so close, a vine having plenty of leaves. She looks at him and she sees he's like a still tree, a dead tree having no leaves, nothing, as if there is no life in it. So she sheds all the leaves and acquires the name of Aparna. Parna means leaf. Aparna is no leaf. There is a name of the goddess called Aparna, which means no leaf. She sheds the leaves because she finds her husband, Shiva, like a dead tree having no leaves and no life in him. So she says, why should I also have it? This is his attitude, a feeling of togetherness. It is said, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra's wife, she saw that her husband had no vision. He was blind. So she said, why should I see? So she tied a piece of cloth around her, and I will also be like him, so that she understands the pain of her husband. So here, he says, some souls enter the womb in order to acquire another body and become other living beings, and some others attain motionless forms like a stone or a tree or a plant, which they do not move, all in accordance with their karma, deeds and knowledge. There was a Westerner, a lady who came and asked Paramacharya of Kanchipuram, where is the proof for this, that there is rebirth? He told her, you go to the maternity hospital there in Kanchipuram and just check how many babies are born. Describe me what you think of him. So she came back and she said there are five babies born in the maternity hospital. So how do you find them? Do you find them identical? They are born on the same day. No, one is fair, one is dark, another one is short, one is crying, one is not crying. There are different forms. So he asked a counter question. If God is kind, why is it that all these people are born differently? And they are going to be different in their lives. They are not going to be identical. Somebody may be rich, somebody may be poor, somebody may be tall, somebody may be short. How do you explain this? And then he adds, the only explanation which is found in Sanatana Dharma is reincarnation. You shall sow what you shall reap, what you shall sow. There is an adage, you reap what you sow. So if you plant good actions, you also get good results. Action and reaction. So this, I think, very well explained in this. Yama says this is what happens after the death of a person, and which is what is believed in Sanatana Dharma till date. There may be people who question it because there is no scientific evidence, but there are some experiments conducted where people do recall their previous birth. There are some research studies which have gone through, and some people have remembered their previous birth. In fact, They even recall how they died and they recall the situation. They are able to describe it vividly. And when the parents or somebody living is able to collaborate and say, yes, this is all true. So there are some scientific proof, but as I said, Sanatana Dharma goes more by faith rather than written or scientific proof. So here it is said by Lord Yama that people do take another birth according to their karma or the deeds and the knowledge. So going further, verse 8, qualify. Yayesha supteshu jagarti kamam kamam purusho nirmyamanaha tadeva shukram tad brahma tada amritam uchyate tasmin lokaha sritaha sarve tadunatyeti kaschana etadvaitat. This is that. Etadvaitat. What is what? We're going to explain. Ya yesha supteshu. You know, in the dream state, when we all dream, all organs go to sleep. Our muscles don't move, we don't walk, we don't talk. We go into a state of rest. But the mind is somewhat awake. What you call subconscious state. And that's why you get dreams. In the dream, we dream of many things that we desire. Somebody says, I've acquired a new car or a beautiful home, a wife, and so on. Those are all desirable objects. And even when the organs are asleep, they keep on creating desirable objects. How I wish. In fact, we use the term, I dream, I dream to become an engineer. I dream to own a big home. I dream to travel. My dream is to write a book. My dream is to be able to teach. These are all dream. We use the expression dream, right? That is, even though when we are sleeping, we have desires internally. And that Purusha is what is pure. That Purusha, the Brahman, the immortal, he is the pure. There are two sets of people who don't commit sins. One is a child. Up to the age of 5, you can say, the child translates impulse into action. Whatever it thinks, it does it. It doesn't tell lies. It's pure heart. That's why we love children. God is in the form of kids, small kids. They come and they blurt out whatever. My mom said this, my dad said this. They don't hide their feelings. So they don't commit sins. They may break something, but that is different. But that is not a sin. But they are pure. The second set of people are the mad people, because they also don't know what they are doing. They do whatever their impulse tells. He alone is pure. Rest of the people, they try to hide feelings. They try to hide many things. Therefore, the Purusha inside, he is just subdued and he doesn't come out. So all creations contain that Purusha or a tiny portion of the large Brahman. You also, Aham Brahmasmi, you say, I'm also Brahman. So no one goes beyond that large Brahman. This indeed is that which is the Brahman. So there is a story, to explain about Brahman, which I read somewhere. The Devas and Asuras, they are known to be always fighting with each other, the good and the evil. And in fact, today is the victory of the good over the evil. Vijaya Dasami, as they call it. Vijaya Dasami. Victory. The goddess wins over evil. So Devas and Asuras fight, and then Devas win. And in the ecstasy, they all go beyond their limits of enjoyment. They think that they won everything. And at that, when they were rejoicing, there was a figure which came in like a jyoti, a huge flame-like thing, and they didn't know what it was all about. So, by the side of that, they saw a yaksha, considered to be like an angel, sort of, a human figure. And they went near the yaksha and asked, "What is this?" Said, "You want to know what is that? Who are you?" So I said, "I am Agni." "What can you do?" "Oh, I can burn anything. I'm so powerful." So he was so proud that they won the war against Asuras. He said, I can win anything. I can burn anything." "Oh, is that so?" The Neksha put a small piece of material on, very small piece, then burn it now. And Agni tried his level best and could not burn it. He accepted defeat and came back. And then looking at this, Vayu said, the air, "Let me go and find out." So he went and asked Aksha, "Who are you and who is this?" She says, "Who are you?" "Oh, I am Vayu. I can do anything. I can rip apart buildings. I can lift trees. I can create disaster." "Oh, is that so? Okay, here is a piece of material. Lift it up." And then Vayu tried his level best. He couldn't do that. He accepted defeat and said, "Sorry, I thought I am powerful." So this is a lesson. But then you have not answered my question. Who is this figure who's like a huge jyoti? That is called Brahman. That is called Brahman. So this is the story. And to collaborate with this, there is, in fact, in Kalahasti, Kshetram of Shiva, one of these Jyotirlingas there, the goddess there is called Jnana Prasunamba. Jnana Prasuna. Some people even have the name Prasuna. So she was the one who gave the truth. And the lingam, there is a lingam called Yaksha Lingam there. There is a Sahasra Lingam on the hilltop and there is an Yaksha Lingam. The Yaksha Lingam is supposed to personify that action who explained to the Devas there is something great than everything else that is called Brahman. So it is not something which is easily understandable, not easily visualized. Therefore, Brahman itself is worshipped in two forms. One is called Saguna Brahman, which has got a form to make people understand, to visualize that there is a Brahman. But the other one is called Nirguna Brahman, without any attributes. Saguna Brahman has attributes, and Nirguna Brahman has no attributes. So to achieve Nirguna Brahman or realize it, you have to go through the Saguna route. So that's the way Sanatana Dharma works, to give you the facility of visualization and eventually understand what is the real Brahman. Okay, going further, verse 10. Actually, from verse 8 onwards, Yama talks about Brahman a lot about, and that entity of unity between Jivatma and Paramatma, which becomes eventually the Brahman, and he talks about it from verse 8 onwards. So there are many books written. Sigmund Freud was a great psychologist. He's written a book called The Interpretation of Dreams, and he claims that dreams are a form of repressed desires, and we saw that the desire is awakened by the Purusha. So going further on this, verse 10, Vayur yataikyo bhuvanam pravishto rupam pratirupo babuva ekastata sarvabhutan antaratma Rupam rupam pratirupo bahishcha. Here's an analogy. Just like water, Emma gives the example of air. Just as air, ekaha is one. Air is prevalent everywhere, throughout the world, bhuvanam. Pravishtaha, if it enters into rupam, every form, this is repeated twice, every form. Pratirupaha is reflection. Pratibimbam is what you see on the mirror. Reflection. Babuva, attained. Ekaha, tatha, likewise. Similarly, being one, sarva bhutar antaratma, the self of all. Again, rupam, pratirupaha, outside them. Now, this may look a little disjointed when you see the meanings, but when you look at the gist, it will be clear. Just as the air, though one, entering the world, takes different forms. It becomes oxygen, it becomes nitrogen, it has got so many other constituents in it, and you fill it up in a balloon, it takes the shape of a balloon. So also, the internal Atman of all living beings, though one, assumes different forms. He enters inside one form and also remains outside in a different form. The air we breathe goes inside the lungs. We exhale outside, it's also there outside. A remarkable process of taking out the carbon dioxide and absorbing the oxygen in one form. So it has different forms. So this is something which is explained as an example, just as air is one. And I think I gave you the examples of water. And I also once gave you the example of a clay. Clay is everywhere, but then you can shape it into a pot. The clay is still there. The pot is broken, the clay becomes clay again. So there is a beautiful shatakam. It's a shatakam means 6 couplets. It's called Nirvana Shatakam by Adi Shankaracharya, which ends with the word Shivoham, Shivoham. Mano buddhi ahankari chitta ninaham na cha srota jikve na cha krona netre na cha vyoma bhubirne tejo navayuhu chittanantarupa shivoham shivoham. Neither I am the ears or the tongue or the nose or the eyes, neither I am the sky nor the earth nor fire. I am the very pure, eternal, blissful consciousness, the self. It's a beautiful 6 couplets. So it is a thing which is difficult to visualize when you say it is formless, it is Nirguna Brahman. And there are all the other Upanishads and Vedas keep on talking about this, that you are that, this is that. Aham Brahmasmi, says Brihadaranya Upanishad. I am Atma Brahma, the self in Brahman. You know, this is a key metaphysical concept in Hindu philosophy, that all Upanishads point to the same thing. Tattvamasi, you are that. Chandogya Upanishad says that. So, going further, Ekam vashi sarva bhutar antaratma ekam rupam bahutaya karoti tam atmastam yenu pashyanti dhiras tesham sukham shashvatam netaresham. Shashvatam. Shashvatam is sukham shashvatam. You see the last line, sukham shashvatam. Sukham is happiness. Shashvatam is always eternal, eternal happiness. that which exists, which gives you eternal happiness. The only way to attain it is to realize the Brahman. He is the one, Ekaha, Vashi, the ruler, Sarva Bhuta Antaratma, of the inmost self of all beings. When you understand this concept, you will find no difference between you and others. Ekam, one Rupam, manifold, a Karoti, Tam Atpastam, situated in the mind, on who perceive this, and then they attain eternal happiness. Only those who perceive this attain, not for others. Na itaresham, not for others. So the route to this is also explained. If you see Bhagavad Gita, you can't just attain Brahman all of a sudden. It has to go through a step-by-step process. First the Karma Yoga, then the Bhakti Yoga, and then eventually the Jnana Marga are the way to realize that Brahman. And therefore, this is being explained by Yama, the nature of Brahman. So going further, Nachiketas now asks this question. So he says, all right, you have told me a lot about Brahman, but how do I realize it? That is his question now. Tat etat iti manyante nirdesham paramam sukam. Katam means how? Katam no tat vijaniyam. How do I understand? Kimu bhati vibhati va. We had in our Sanskrit lesson these questions, Kim, Katam, and all that. So here he's asking this question. You say this is that. Looks like simple. What is my question. How do I realize it? Is that indescribable, supreme, paramam, sukham, you say, joy? Katam, how? Indeed, that vijaniyam, shall I know whether it shines or it is just a reflection of a shine? Does it have original luster in it or it just reflected? There are some people who claim their ancestors were so and so, so and so. It is what is called reflected glory. My grandfather was a minister, or my father is a minister, was. So they obtain reflected glory. They themselves are nobody, but they claim glory from reflection. So he's asking whether it is original shine, bhati, or vibhativa, or does it reflect some shine? Going ahead, Yama replies that. Yama replies beautifully. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyute bhanti, kutoyam agnihi, tame vabantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamitam vibhati. Very beautiful. He says that Brahman is something where the sun does not shine, nor the moon, nor the stars, or the lightning. What to talk about the small fire which gives you a little glow? It shines. He alone shines. That means the original luster there. He doesn't reflect sun. In fact, he does not have sun there at all, nor even the moon. Not even the small glow of light which comes from a fire, he doesn't reflect that. But he has the original shine. Everything else shines through his luster. Everything else shines through his luster. So that is the greatness of this eternal Brahman, the self-luminous, as you call it up. Is present everywhere and he shines originally. With this, the Valli 5, chapter 2 concludes. And we go ahead with the next Valli of chapter 2, selected verses again highlighting the most important one, iha chet ashakat bodhum prak sharirasya visrasaha tataha sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. Yama is now telling the fruit of this realization. If one realizes this, ihachet, if here itself you are able to realize this before the fall of this physical body, sharirasya vistrasaha, falling down, means before you fall dead, one gets liberated. That is the motto or the goal of sannyasis, the jnanis, the munis, the rishis, the wise. Otherwise, he takes another birth. And that is fundamental, the core, where people ultimately want to realize that Brahman, that Mukti. They don't want to be reborn. That is why you have this explanation here. If one realizes Brahman and is getting liberated, otherwise it takes another birth. What is the path to this realization? Tam yogameti manyante siram indriya dharanam. Dharanam, indriya dharanam apramastastada bhavati yogo hi prabhavapyayo. Tam, that yogam. Yogam is yoga. You know what is yoga? It comes from the root yu and j. Yuj. Yuj. Yuj means to join. Join what? Join the Jivatma with the Paramatma. That is called yoga. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra says this. In fact, if one reads through the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you will find what we do as yoga in terms of physical movements is only a very small portion. The real yoga is very vast. Tam, that yogam is yoga. I'm going to explain more about this. Iti manyante, thus called sthiram, firm. Indriya dharanam, restraint is control of the senses. You can't do yoga in a yoga center and go and do all other evil deeds. You have to control them. Senses. That is the purpose of yoga. And in order to do that, you do certain physical exercises to control your mind. That is the objective. Not to reduce weight, not to really improve your muscles. You can keep good health. Yes, of course, good health is important for you to think, but that is not the main objective. Apramattaha is vigilant. Tatha bhavati is one then. Yoga hi, for yoga. Prabha apyayo, prabhava apyayo is both creation and dissolution. Now that, the stillness of the senses, the concentration of the mind is called yoga. So one, by doing that, becomes supremely alert and vigilant as yoga, as yogi. And even if this is acquired, it may be lost inadvertently by not following certain rules. It's a warning by Yama that if you don't practice yoga properly, it can be injurious. Like you have this warning on cigarette packs. Smoking is injurious to health. Practicing yoga could be injurious to health unless it is practiced correctly and consistently. It could be injurious to health. So it's a warning. So one has to be really very, very careful about practicing yoga, particularly just going through the yoga centers. Going further, talks about the location of this Brahman once again. Angushta purusho antaratma sada jananam hridaye sannivishtaha tam swap charirat pravaren munjat iveshikam dhairyena tam vidyat chukram amritam tam vidya chukram amritamiti. We mentioned about the thumb-sized. It's purely for visualization purposes. Where is it? Now the heart, the human heart, for centuries has been known to be the seat of emotions. That is known to everybody. It's not merely a pump which pumps blood through the body, but it is the central seat of emotions. Happiness or distress, love or hate, emitting electromagnetic waves, and that is scientifically proved. What is ECG? Electrocardiogram. It releases impulses, electrical impulses. It's known. The pacemaker cells which form the heartbeat. So there is what is called the subconscious mind, which is constantly emitting this. And it works something like an internet or your cell phone where it reaches out to others. That's why probably when you look at somebody, you talk to him for a few minutes, you develop either a liking or a dislike or a neutral. You develop certain emotions even within a few minutes of meeting somebody, because there is a meeting of the electromagnetic waves, and they align sometimes, but sometimes like North and South Pole, they diverge. How this works is strange. I'll give you one example from my own life here. I was once in Madras Central Station, which, like any central stations, a lot of crowd going around. It is alive through day and night, and trains keeps coming and trains keep departing. And in the platform, there are some people sleeping in the night. I once observed a village woman who was sleeping there, unmindful of all that noise that was going around with so many vehicles, and then the railway engines making horn voice, and then the porters carrying those trolleys which make like a road roller going. All this noise, she never felt anything about that. She ignored them all, unmindful of that. She was sleeping soundly, and by the side of her was her little baby. And the little baby cried. And we heard the cry. This lady got up immediately. I was asking this question, how is it this lady is able to hear the sound of a baby, but there is so much of noise around, and she doesn't wake up for that. But she wakes up only for the sound of the baby, which was a shrill cry. It was something between the heart of the mother and the heart of the baby, which strikes a chord. And therefore, she is able to sense it like an alarm bell. So this is how the subconscious mind works. And this Jivatma is that. It is Angushta Matraha, located in a corner of a heart, unseen, which does wonders. It gives you a chord or discord also, depending upon how the wavelengths, they align themselves. The waves which are emitted by the heart. That is why I think love is considered to be an alignment of the waves that are emitted by two hearts. So this Purusha, the inner self, is ever seated in the hearts of people. One should separate him from the body, just like the stalk from the grass. Know him as pure and immortal. And he repeats it again, indeed pure and immortal, which everybody has. Now, question is, how do I, in practice, achieve this? Do I become Yes, sannyasi, or go to the forest and meditate. How do I achieve in practice? Tell me a pragmatic way, practical approach. Now, this is a condensed form. From Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, I'm telling this. You have certain do's and don'ts prescribed by Patanjali, Rishi himself. They are called yamas and niyamas. Yamas are don'ts. Don't do this. There are 5 of them. Very important. 3 of them start with the letter A. Ahimsa, non-violence. Non-violence includes not just physical violence, but also even hurting somebody by mind, in mind. Harsh words hurt someone, So talk to them nicely. Ahimsa, non-violence, 1. 2, asteyam, not stealing. 3rd, aparigraha, non-greed. Don't be greedy. I want this. Just because my neighbor bought a latest TV, I also want this. Don't compare yourselves. Be yourself. Aparigraha. Don't be greedy and then try to acquire somebody, steal from others. Satya, truthfulness. That's why I mentioned about the child and mad people. They tell the truth. You have the lie detector test, how the lie detector works. When there is a discord between what you are telling, which is a fake, and the real thing hidden in your heart, there is a discord, and the lie detector senses it. Right? So, when you say Satya, be truthful to yourself. Don't make fake feelings. Anybody who is smart can easily make out whether he's genuine or fake. Right? Be genuine. Satya. And lastly, Indriya Nigraha, control of the senses. Do not overeat. Do not overdrink. There are certain norms of behavior, a code of conduct, Indriya Nigraha. Vedas are not against pursuing pleasures. They're only saying be careful. Don't overdo it. So this is one of the don'ts. So 5 don'ts. All right. What about the do's? What you should do? 1, Saucha. In fact, 3 of them start with the letter S, Saucha. Saucha is cleanliness, purity of body and mind both. You have to be clean in mind, also in body. Saucha. Santosha. Santosha really means contentment. Be contented with what you have. God has given you certain gifts. You have a reasonably good life. Be happy about it. Contented. Just because other man has got $100 million, don't say, well, I don't have that much, I have only $10 million. No. Be content with what you have. As long as it feeds you, you have a nice home, your happiness. Swa Adhyaya, self-learning, study of self, introspection. Think about. Even Paramacharya says, when he does a mistake, he recalls what he did. Somebody was giving him this spinach, Every day, somebody used to give spinach. And one day, that man didn't come. So he asked, what happened? That man didn't bring spinach. So then, after some time, he said, I'm going to remain on fast for 3 days. People didn't know why. For 3 days, he observed fast. At the end of which, somebody asked, why suddenly fast? You know what? I thought to myself, I'm a sannyasi. I should not have any liking. I like that spinach. And I asked this question, where is that man? He didn't bring spinach. That means I had developed already a taste for it, which is not good for me. Therefore, in order to atone for that, I remained fasting. So this is called self-introspection. Such a great Rishi or Muni himself does the introspection. Therefore, think about yourself. Introspection, Swadhyaya. Then, the 4th one is tapas or meditation. You remain silent maybe for 10 minutes every day or 5 minutes. so that your mind is at rest. And it also helps you in perseverance and the kind of austerity. So eventually you surge with energy at tapas. And lastly, the most important, Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara. Think about that Brahman. You can worship him in any form you like as Saguna Brahman. You cannot visualize the formless Brahman, but visualize him in the form of Shiva or Vishnu or whichever you like. It's easier to do that. So, 5 do's and 5 don'ts. That is what is called sadhana. Consistent practice of this. It is a practical approach. One doesn't acquire realization all of a sudden. It has to go step by step. And this is an easier way of doing it, going it steadily. And be honest with yourself so that then you practice these 5 do's, yama and niyama. Yamas means don't, niyama is do. Do's and don'ts, yama and niyama, prescribed by that great rishi of yoga, Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Shastra. That is real yoga, not a set of exercises alone. So remember this when you go to the yoga center next time. We are going to conclude now with the last verse, I think, which is verse 18 of Valli 6 and chapter 2. Mrityu proktam nachiketo atalabdva vidyam etam yoga vidim cha krishnam brahma prapto virajo abhu vimrityur ram anyo evam yo vidyatmam yeva. Mrityu proktam. Mrityu is Lord of Death here, Lord Yama. Proktam. Proktam is said or taught. Mrityu proktam nachiketo atha nachiketa of thereafter labdva is having attained. After being taught by Lord Yama, Nachiketa thereafter attained what? This knowledge, vidyam yetam, this knowledge, yoga vidim cha, and the method of practicing it through yoga. Krishnam is completely Brahma prapta, having attained Brahman. Virajaha, abhuta, became free of impurities. Vimrityuhu, and free of that V is added. Anyaha api, anyone else too. Evam thus, whoever knows Adhyatmam yeva, certainly this self alone. Thereafter, Nachiketas, having acquired this knowledge imparted by Yama and also the teaching about yoga, attained Brahman, became free from all impurities and death, and thus it will be with anyone else also who thus knows the self-Atman. There is a famous Mrityunjaya mantram which comes in Sri Rudram. Many of you know that. Trayambagam yadamake sugantim puttivardhanam urvarukam bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamam amritat. How would you like to separate from the world? It's like a ripened cucumber. The difference between ordinary fruits. If there's mango, it falls from a tree. If it is a banana, you have to pluck it. But cucumber is not like it. So it's a creeper which creeps on the ground. And what happens is when it becomes ripens, it stays there. The wine goes away from that. So likewise, the death should be something which you ripen yourself. It has to get released at the same place. The rest of the bandham or the attachments go away from it automatically. That is why it says, Comparison with cucumber. Trayambagam yadamage sukantim puttivardhanam urvarukamiva. Urvarukam is cucumber. Like that, one should have a separation. So that is taught in Sri Rudram. So with this, we are going to conclude the SanKatha program. And thanks to all of you. I wish you a very, very happy Dasara today. It's a very auspicious day. And I wish you enjoy with friends and family. And we will start another program maybe a couple of weeks later. I'm going to be traveling this month and probably the next month too. So we'll get back to you. You can, in the meantime, let me know if there's anything of special interest to you so we can take a decision.